Skill-wise, you deserve masters, but bad randoms, solo queuing, and unlimited Brawler Pool is what is holding you down. Or so you might think. Well, what if I tell you that with the 3 concepts I'm about to teach you, you will inevitably reach masters? Firstly, we have Brawler Pool. Truth is, you only need around 12 to 15 Brawlers to reach masters, and here are the Brawler archetype you need. 2 assassins, 2 tanks, 2 snipers, 2 anti-tanks, 1 to 2 anti-aggros, and 2 controllers. The reason behind picking 2 of each roles being if your brawler is ever banned or picked by the enemy, then you'll always have a backup option. Before explaining how to determine the brawlers to choose for each archetype, here is an important distinction between anti-tanks and anti-aggros. If you already know the differences between these two types of brawlers, then you could skip to the next timestamp. Anti-tanks are brawlers that have really high damage output but are usually susceptible to assassins. For example, Lumi. You can dish out damage really quickly on Lumi, but if an Edgar jumps at you, there really is nothing you can do. Anti-Aggro on the other hand are brawlers that have a medium to small damage output. However, they have kits that are specialized in dealing with aggro, such as Charlie's Cocoon, Gale's Whirlwind Gadget, or Krau's Poison. Anti-Aggro alone without any damage dingers will not be able to kill a tank, and generally should only be picked alongside someone who could dish out a reliable amount of damage. Now here's the meat of the video. How do you pick your brawler pool? Well, here's where you should make use of professional tier lists who have already done the nitty-gritty of figuring out which brawlers are currently good in the game. First, preferably you should pick brawlers that are currently in the broken tiers. However, if you do not have these ones yet, then brawlers that are in the meta tier, or in other words, one tier below the best one, are also okay. Second, you have to be comfortable using the brawler. I would say that you have to be at least 1k trophies and is able to get wins above 1k trophies with the brawler. But then again, it varies, and this is just my own personal metric of being good at a brawler. The reason behind these two conditions is because that if you're using a broken brawler like Max is currently, but you're bad at the brawler, then you will not play well during the game. And if you're using a bad brawler, even though you're good at them, then it might work, but it's just not the most effective method to win. Here's an example of my current brawler pool for this season as a reference for you to pick your own brawlers. Now putting that aside, this is most likely the most important part of the video, drafting. We can go deep into drafting theories and brawler matchups, but at the end of the day, most of us here are not at the pro player level yet. So here is something I came up with to easily draft. If you have first pick, always pick the broken brawlers or the best brawlers for that map. Reason being, 1. You take the pick away from the enemy. 2. Brawlers that are in the broken tier list are usually really hard to counter because of how good they currently are in the game. So even natural counters don't work as well as they usually do. If you have others or last pick, then here's a good graph that you might have seen before. Controllers beat damage, damage beats aggro, and aggros beat controllers. This is a very general graph, but with only seconds to think in the drafting phase, it's good to keep things simple instead of overthinking and end up picking a random brawler. Eventually, you'll start to learn and get a feel of what brawlers to pick in certain situations. These are what I classify as jokers. And there isn't really a one-fit-all explanation on how and when to pick these brawlers, but the only advice I can give is if you think a brawler is good for this scenario and you have a game plan on how to use it, then you should try and pick it. It is extremely crucial to know which games you have little chances of winning, because losing a game is equivalent to winning 2 games in the L2 to L3 rank. Here are the 2 conditions in which you should dodge to save your rank. First, dodge if you see an absolute troll pick. For example, like if out of nowhere they suddenly pick Chuck on a Brawl map. This is usually a good indication that the enemy is either win trading or just wanting to throw the game. It's not possible to win a 2v3. Dodge immediately. Second, if you see 2 of your teammates are getting hard countered by the enemies, then by all means dodge that game. Because instead of a 2v3, this will inherently feel like a 1v3 scenario. Dodge immediately. Here is a bonus tip nobody tells. Every brawler has their own role in the game. Trying to help your teammate do their role will usually backfire and make things worse. In truth, this is a 3v3 game, and you can't do everything yourself. If your teammate is not doing their job, then the best thing you can do is excel at your role, and only help them when you have nothing else to do. For example, only when you have killed the enemy in your lane, then it's okay to start helping with the enemy in your teammate's lane. Lastly, we have the mentality side of the game. Please do not skip this part of the lesson as the things you just learned might not be as effective if you do. Don't think about your rank while playing. A sentence that have been repeated over and over again on every guide you can find. Though, how do you actually achieve this mindset? After 13 grueling seasons, being hardstuck in the Mythic to Legend bracket, I found out that the best mindset is to go in, ready to get obliterated by the enemies. However, you should always tell yourself that no matter what happens, you will try to play your best anyway. You have to expect bad teammates and sweaty enemies because low expectation protects your headspace, and a protected headspace always plays better. Next, you have to understand that losses are part of ranking up. At the end of the day, it is a 3v3 game, and there are a lot of variants that are purely out of your control. Being upset about unlucky streaks or bad randoms will not help you rank up. If you ever find yourself even slightly tilted and can't stop thinking about external factors, then it is probably a good sign to take a break. It doesn't have to be long. You can just take a quick shower, or just walk around a bit and come back with a fresh mind. I hope from watching this, you will be able to reach Masters, and please let me know if you found any of these tips helpful in your rank journey.